welcome to Vlogmas day 10. Double digits. It is Monday. Whew. And a Monday it is. So I woke up, well no, I went to bed with all intentions of getting ready for the week. It's the week before Christmas, going into work, you know, I'll come home, just like my mindset was there. And then I woke up this morning and my mindset was not there, and I'm also not feeling very well. So like physically, there are things happening. I'm expecting my period. So the period pains are real. Usually I just have to take it really easy with like the cramps and stuff. Like the brain fog is usually an issue for me too when I get my period, and that just affects my like productivity on quantum levels. My neck is also hurting. I've talked about this several times on this channel where I have a problem with hurting my neck from how I sleep at night, and it's been hurting like a little bit the past few days, but once I actually got out of bed this morning and went about my morning and then sat on the couch, the pain really hit. So I have a heating pack. I took some Advil, but it's still pretty bad. That's also happening, and I decided to just take the day off. I took a sick day, mental health day. So grateful to be able to take time off from work and not have major consequences, because rest is so important. I had such a busy weekend between George's birthday, and you guys saw during the weekend vlog there was just a lot of doing and going and bustle, and even Sunday, yesterday, which was still kind of my self-care day where I didn't have to really do anything or be anywhere, I still pushed myself to be productive by cleaning the apartment, doing laundry, and by the end of it all, I realized I hadn't really rested at all. And I've just been like physically and mentally in this go state, which is the chaos of holiday season that we can all relate to at some point, with just being kind of pulled into the cycle, and then it is so hard to get out of the cycle. Some of us don't know how to stop unless our body physically tells us, hello, relax, chill, take a breather. And I feel like that is what is happening to me today. So I have to honor my body, honor my energy levels, and just not do anything really. So since I'm at home with nothing to do, why not try a readathon? You guys know I don't do readathons because I usually read long books or longer books, and it's hard for me to read a lot of books in a 24-hour time span, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it because I started reading A Timeless Christmas by Alexis Stanton, which is a historical romance with time travel, and I started it at 11:30 a.m. I think, because when I started reading this, I had no intentions of doing a readathon, nor did I think I'd be able to finish this, but I've read 55 pages so far. I think it's doable to read this within the 12-hour, I mean less than that. I'm estimating it'll take 4 hours to read this. That's just an estimate based on how much I've read so far, because there are a total of 333 pages, but it's one of those short books, and I think I read around 50 pages in about an hour. Once I finish this, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be reading next for said readathon, so I'm like scrambling to find audiobooks or ebooks. Over the weekend I read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and I never read, you know, the classic Christmas tale. I never really saw any of the movies either. I've watched the Disney one a few years ago and got hooked on that, so that's kind of a annual tradition for me to put that on. I just never read the book, and then I thought it's a good time to read it because it's available for free, because it's a classic and it's short, and I read it from Saturday to yesterday, so it took me about a day, less than a day, to read that. So that would have been a good book for this readathon, but I already read it, and I'm officially 4 books away from reaching my annual reading goals, so that is very exciting. So we have A Timeless Christmas and some other options that have not transpired in my brain yet. I just need to keep reading this first. So this book is so adorable. They're from two different centuries, but they're perfect for each other. So our main character, Megan, works as a tour guide at a historic mansion that used to be owned by an entrepreneur and business owner named Charles Whitley. He was a businessman, and his prime was around the early 1900s. So his storyline kind of takes place in 1902, and our modern day Megan character gives tours of his mansion to everyday folks. So Megan already has a place in my heart because she is a history person. She has a history degree. She wants to be a history professor at a college university level, but she's not there yet, and she's just doing historic tours because there was one line that I wanted to read to you guys. Being a tour guide didn't quite fulfill her need to share history with others, since it was limited to the visitors that came to the house. If only she could shape a generation's minds and bring history alive for people evolving from teenagers to adults. Then she'd feel she was fulfilling her true purpose. Being a history professor at a university would be a dream come true. Making that happen, though, was proving much more difficult than she'd expected. But she was here now, teaching the visitors about history, and that nearly satisfied her need to educate others. And then the other sentence I wanted to share with you guys was, there was nothing better than making the past accessible to the present. And that is like my career mission, at least why I majored in history and why I became an archivist, because I want to make the past accessible, discoverable for people in the present. And I think that's such a powerful tool and gift for a person to possess. So I'm grateful that purpose found me and that I'm actually living that out through my job. So like Megan, we could all say that we're not where we want to be with our careers, potentially. At least I feel like I could be doing more to fulfill my purpose at a different kind of place or at a different level than where I'm at. But Megan is trying to find the joy and purpose in what she's doing now, which is also something I've always tried to tell myself as I was building my career, because I volunteered, I worked at a visitor center at the very kind of low level. I've done internships to get where I am now, and there's still like things I'd like to do more in my career as I grow and advance. So I'm already hooked based on that aspect of our main character, which is really kind of a minor element of the story. It has just kind of a little intro tidbit, but I'm already loving that about her. So back to like our time travel. So the book kicks us off very early with at the historic mansion. It gives us great details of the Christmas decorations and the staff and the tours, and Megan is giving a tour, and we learn about Charles Whitley, the businessman from the past, from those tours. Then the second chapter jumps back to 1902, where Charles, who loves technology and collects like clocks, he has this 18th century clock from Sweden, I want to say, Scandinavia, and it's not working. And he's like, why is it not working? In a flash, he is transported to the future. And that's kind of our plot. I feel like I'm not giving away spoilers with that because that is included on the summary on the back. Charles is determined to find a way back to his own era, especially when he learns about what happened after he left. But as Megan introduces him to the wonders of smartphones, pizza, and modern holiday traditions, they both feel a once-in-a-lifetime connection. Could it be that, somewhere in time, they belong together? My heart is already like enthralled right now by this whole plot and just the first 50 pages. Charles' interactions with already coming to the present and like not understanding cell phones and like modern technology is just so funny. Like I will always laugh at that kind of storyline. So this is already making me feel better because I've been feeling kind of down on myself for being sick or taking the day off to rest and just feeling guilty for not going into work and not being productive. And I wasn't even gonna vlog today because I just wanted to fully ride out the rest period, but just sitting here, I was like, I need to vlog this because I want to document this and share the story with you guys, but I also just need to fill kind of a void that is happening internally, and creating and making videos is always a way for me to feel better. So with that said, I'm off to read more, eat some food, and I'll check in with you guys in a bit. It is officially 3 o'clock. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. And I have officially made the halfway point of our book, which means I have about 160 pages left to go. I think I'm gonna take a break because I have to do some video editing and exporting and get my Vlogmas episode 9 up because I have slacked on that. I was up late last night editing it and didn't finish it because I needed to film more. And then this morning was just kind of a boop, unproductive morning since I was not feeling well, and then I decided to do reading. So it's just been one of those days. So I'm gonna have to take a break. I don't want to spend longer than 2 hours editing because that's obviously gonna go into my readathon count. So this is definitely not the best readathon circumstances, but it's definitely realistic. I've also been chatting with my friend Amanda, who has decided to join me for this readathon, which makes me so happy. And I've been trying to figure out what book I'm gonna read after this. And I have some ideas, but I'm gonna do some editing, try and read some more of this, and then check in with you guys for the next plan. We are 5 minutes from 5. You probably, again, can't see this, but it's almost 5 o'clock. So I spent about 2 hours, less than 2 hours. I think I technically started at 3:15, if we're getting really incremental, with finishing the video, getting it exported, and getting the thumbnail done. So now it is uploading and just needs to process, and I just have to check in a few hours to make it live. When it's done processing, it takes so long for my videos to process. It's just odd to me. I don't know if that's normal because I feel like for other people it's not normal. Anywho, with this newfound development, I can go back into reading as we shift into the evening time. And now I have to get really incremental. Word of the video, incremental with my time. So I think I'm gonna put on like a read with me video, either 30 minutes or 1 hour. I'm probably gonna do Morgan Long's 1 hour like Christmas read with me. Read for that duration. That will take me until 6 o'clock and then see how far I get. I am really debating making a Barnes & Noble run to get a book that Amanda inspired me to get, but I know that's going to subtract time, and will I even finish it? I don't know. Or I could go look for some other books, but I don't know. I have all these other books that are on my like queue to read, but I don't think I can finish them within, I don't even know how many hours I have left at this point. I don't know if I can finish them by tomorrow before I go into work. So that is the predicament. If we read just 1.5 books for this readathon, is it still considered a success? I think just finishing 1 book in a day is a success. So let's go read for an hour. read 87 pages in my hour sprint, and I am very, very impressed with myself. And that means we have 75 pages left. That's like another hour. Crazy. We're doing it. And I'm just taking a break to make dinner and then probably jump back in at 7. Don't know what book I'm gonna read next. I am searching. I think I'm just gonna do like an ebook or find a free like book either through my library or Kindle or just through the Books app. I wanna read like a classic children's literature Christmas story, so I need to hunt and find one of those. To be continued, friends. All right, I may have found an audiobook that I might enjoy. It's More Favorite Stories of Christmas Past by Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women. I have not read Little Women. I remember I was a little girl and I had a copy of Little Women. I don't remember where I got it. And I always tried to read it and I just could not get past the intimidation factor of how huge and long and intimidating the book was. But it's definitely a book I want to read someday. We're gonna give it a whirl. It is 4 hours, 48 minutes. And if I speed it up and listen tonight into tomorrow, I think that'll be a good option. So let's go.
More Favorite Stories of Christmas Past. Narrated by Simon Preble and Joyce Bean. This unabridged audiobook was produced in the year 2008 by Tantor Media Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. Keeping Christmas. From the Spirit of Christmas by Henry Van Dyke. It is a good thing to observe Christmas Day. The mere marking of times and seasons when men agree to stop work and make merry together is a wise and wholesome custom.
Blessed time that draws us all so near. Welcome, dear day, all creatures say, for Christmastide is here.
And in proportion to his growth, so was his self-satisfaction increased. And with it arose a joyous longing to grow higher and higher, to reach even to the warm, bright sun itself. Already had his topmost branches big as the clouds, which floated beneath them like troops of birds of passage, having moments with the old tree, peace, joy. And yet, amidst all this happiness, the tree felt a yearning, longing desire for the other trees to push.
All right, friends, it's 8:20. Why do I even bother to think you'll be able to see the time? It's 8:20. I just finished A Timeless Christmas, and it was just the perfect Hallmark book. I mean, I've been giving a lot of 5-star ratings to the books I've been reading this month, and I don't know if that's just me being in a very joyful spirit or if I'm genuinely just impressed with the books I'm reading, but I really did love this book. It was just so picture perfect with the elements of history and time travel, and they even mentioned Past Perfect at the end, which is a like museum catalog database that we use at our job, and I just thought that was so funny. I was just like, Past Perfect! But I love this book. I would definitely recommend it. I feel like this took me like 4 hours to read. I feel like I should figure out how long it took me to read, but if I look up the audio book, that's usually a good indicator. Okay, the audiobook is about 7 hours, 6 hours, 52 minutes, and I definitely read it less than that. So it was quick for me, and I think you could definitely read this like on Christmas Day or like Christmas weekend, and I just thought it was so fun. So if you like history and romance, time travel, it was funny too. Like I was laughing out loud and it was heartwarming, and it just put me in a good headspace. So definitely recommend. All right, the next book I'm going to read is A Boy Called Christmas by Matthew Haig, who wrote The Midnight Library, and I did a reading vlog on that 2 years ago, last year, and I love that book so much. I didn't know Matt Haig wrote children's books. He does a lot of different kinds of genre writing, but I think I'm gonna enjoy it just based on the fact that I love Matthew Haig's writing, and I'm gonna get on Kindle for $1.99. I decided not to go out into the cold and go to Barnes & Noble and also save some money because I have so many books that I don't have homes for. Well, I have one box of books still that need to have a home, but you guys know, if you've been keeping up, that unpacking and putting stuff away has been a chore. These are like the other Christmas books that I have, but I definitely cannot read these within the next 14 hours, 13 hours. No, it'll be 12, yeah, 15 hours within the next 14 and a half hours. Well, no, it'll be 15 hours because 11:30 is when I started. It is 8:30 right now. So 8 to 8 is 12, and then 8 a.m. to 11 is 3, so 12 plus 3. Yep, 15. Definitely can't read either of these within that time period, and I definitely want something different. A Boy Called Christmas it is, and I guess it's a series. So there's 3 different books. So we're gonna buy this now. And the good thing is, based on Audible says that it's 4.5 hours long. So I feel like that it's definitely doable. So if I read for 2 hours tonight and then I wake up tomorrow morning, I should be able to finish it before I need to go to work. And then on my audiobook, I have still a ways to go, 4 hours, but I think I'll be able to read that in between the other time where I'm not actually physically reading. So we have a strategy. With that said, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea, put on pajamas, put on major layers. It is so cold in our apartment and outside, and start A Boy Called Christmas.
With a smile on his bonny face and splendid hope in his heart. Here's a locket for you, gift of God, he had said gaily. He had such a dear, loving habit of calling her by the beautiful meaning of her name. A lump came into the ended in hopelessness. A rumor came that Donald Prentice was dead. None had returned from the expedition he had joined. Theodora had long ago given up all hope of ever seeing Donald again. Hence, her locket was...
Good morning, friends. It is 9 a.m. I was up at 7 a.m. My alarm went off at 7 a.m. this morning, and then I started listening to my audiobook for like 15 minutes, and then George works night shift and he gets off at 7 a.m. So he came in the room and that's when he's going to sleep. So I switched from audio to my ebook, and I finished A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig fairly quickly. I think 7:45, right before 8 o'clock. So that book was very short. It is a middle grade book. I enjoyed it. It was such a sweet little story. Basically, it's about the history of Santa Claus from Matt Haig's point of view, and it teaches you about magic and belief, and Nicholas, who's the character, the young boy in the story, we go on adventures with him, going to the North Pole, and he runs into elves and pixies, and there's drama and joy and a little sadness. There's just a lot of Christmas spirit in the story, and I thought it was such a cute little story for kids and for me. My inner child was just beaming when I was reading it. But now I want to read the next book in the series, which is The Girl Who Saved Christmas, which is the second book. And I'm at quite a crossroads in terms of how I want to move forward with my readathon, because I technically have 2.5 hours left, and I could easily just continue my audiobook because I have 2.5 hours on that, and I think I probably will do that. But the only thing is, like, I've finished all of the, so they're like individual little Christmas stories, but I've gotten to the point where I finished all the individual stories, and now the last few chapters of it are A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, which I just read over the weekend. So I was at a crossroads. I was like, do I just continue listening to the rest of the audiobook since I already read the book, or do I try and read a second book? Like, do I try and read The Girl Who Saved Christmas, which was very ambitious but definitely not realistic because I am going into work. So I was thinking maybe I could go into work later, try and read this book, or I could just go into work now and just listen to the audiobook on the way and like in the office and have it kind of as a backdrop and still technically finish my 3 books. So I think I'm gonna do that, because I think trying to add on a 4th book, although it could happen, I feel like I've just been booked out and stressed from trying to read and be so like on schedule with it. So I definitely need a break from that. The good things about readathons are that you can definitely move through books and get through your reading goals, but on the flip side, I at least need like downtime to step away from the book, step away from the device, and like not have my eyes reading something, because breaks are good. And I think my strategy throughout this entire readathon was just doing like sprints and having either like a video, like an ambiance or a read with me video in the background, or starting like on the hour. So I would start at like 7 o'clock and then like just keep checking and be like, okay, 8 o'clock, time to take a break. I think that was good for me to get up, go to the bathroom, check my phone, have a little break. And sprints can help you be really productive and focused as well. I think I'm gonna end the video here with 2.5 hours to spare and just finish listening to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens on my audiobook. But this was fun. I'm glad I decided to read yesterday instead of moping, because I was definitely having a mopey morning, and I'm so glad I decided to just like pick up a book and then decide to just focus on reading the whole day, because it really helped get my mind out of negative self-talk and all of those negative feelings that I was feeling yesterday. So with that said, we are so close to Christmas. It is the 20th and we're 5 days out. I am very close to my reading goal. I mean, let's do a little check. I need to update my Goodreads. All right, so we finished A Boy Called Christmas. I'm struggling on the rating. Do I give it a 4-star or a 5-star? I feel like it's hard for me to I don't know, rate children's and middle grade books, because I feel like it was a 4-star read for me, but I'm just gonna go with that because that's the gut. So we read it, and we're gonna give it a 4-star read. I think I give it 4 stars because it didn't like mind blow me. I give 5-star ratings when I like absolutely loved everything about a book. I thought it was perfect. I couldn't pick out any inconsistencies. I was just basically drawn into the story, and like nothing could really change my opinion. This book, I was kind of not that far, a little below that in terms of like the tier. I definitely thought it was magical in all the sense, but not like true childhood Christmas magic that's like very inspirational and life-changing, if you will, for me. So I'd say it teeters between a 4 and a 4.5 star read. I've come over to the Christmas tree to share some special quotes from A Boy Called Christmas that I thought were just so necessary for me to share. The first one is, an impossibility is just a possibility you don't understand yet. In a world like that, it's very easy to be bad. So when someone is good or kind, it's a magic in itself. It gives people hope, and hope is the most wonderful thing there is. Sometimes, she said, her eyes shining, people look up to people not for who they have been, but for what they could become, for what they know they could be. They see in you something special. Last one. There was no use trying to think of a way because it was impossible, and the only way you can make something impossible real isn't through logic or sensible thinking. No, it's to believe it can be done. Belief is the method. So friends, belief, kindness, magic, and just authenticity were true themes of this book, and themes that I want to share right now in this video during this holiday season, but just all year round. And I think I try and infuse a little bit of those elements into my videos, along with cozy and comfort and just ordinariness, because every life has value, and in the bad there is good. And if we just believe, and add a little magic to our lives each day, it can really add up to a lot. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this little readathon, Vlogmas day 10. I can't believe we're going on to Vlogmas day 11. That means there's only 2 more Vlogmas videos. I'm sad. I'm sad. Alas, all good things come to an end, but good things are on the way. So with that said, thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.